Next week on Home and Away in the UK, there's an awkward family reunion in Summer Bay when Levi and Eden's father comes to town, while Xander suffers an accident. Eden hasn't seen Dad Jimmy since he left the family home when she was 15, to move in with the woman he had been having an affair with. When Levi opted to move out with his father, and seeing the pain it had caused their mother, Eden vowed to cut them both out of her life for good. And so began an estrangement of more than a decade between Eden and Levi, despite his efforts to make amends, until he turned up at Northern Districts last year following Mackenzie's heart attack. The two eventually managed to restore their relationship, with Eden getting to meet her sister-in-law Imogen, but everything fell apart when Levi was revealed to be having an affair with Mac. Devastated that her brother would turn out to be like their father, Eden has cut all ties once again. Whilst Levi is happy in his relationship with Mac, the guilt of hurting Imogen still remains. So who better to talk things over with than Jimmy, when he turns up for a surprise visit next week? Showing up at the hospital on Levi's first day back, Jimmy tells Levi that he's a hard man to track down. He'd paid a visit to Levi's former home in the city, only for Imogen to inform him that he no longer lives there and their marriage had ended. Given Yabby Creek's apparent lack of anywhere to eat or drink, the two decamp to the Pier Diner where Levi introduces a rather smitten Marilyn to his dad. Taking a seat, Levi is sorry that Jimmy won't get to meet Mac, currently away visiting Dean and Ziggy, but assures him that he's very happy and that he's made the right choice. That's all that matters to Jimmy, but Levi asks how he was able to cope with the guilt of walking out on his marriage all those years ago, as he has been struggling. Their circumstances are different in that Levi was never in an unhappy marriage with Imogen, but Jimmy tells him that his only option is to find some way of moving on, particularly if he doesn't want it to impact on his relationship with Mac. The two plan to meet for dinner that evening, but with Levi not having told Jimmy that Eden is also living in Summer Bay, he's planning to steer well clear of Salt. However, Summer Bay is a small place, and it's not long before Eden spots her dad from afar whilst on the Salt balcony, walking along the grass towards the surf club. Eden heads straight to the farmhouse, lets herself in and greets her brother with a punch to the face. What the hell is Dad doing here? Meanwhile, Jimmy finds another familiar face whilst walking along the beach, when Kirby recognizes him. He's particularly surprised to see her and asks if she's visiting Levi too. When Kirby points out that she lives here, he asks about the rest of the band, with Kirby confirming that yes, Eden lives here too. As Levi hands Eden a bag of frozen peas for her fist, and her a box of tissues for his bloody nose, Levi informs Eden that their dad's presence in Summer Bay isn't on him. Jimmy found out where he was living from Imogen. With the truth now out, however, Levi defiantly tells Eden that he and Jimmy will be dining at Salt that evening. Eden's fuming, she's supposed to be working tonight, but Levi says that's her problem, it's up to her if she shows up or not. Will Eden be able to face her father after all these years? Elsewhere in Summer Bay, Xander's week is about to get a whole lot worse following the apparent end of his relationship with Dana. Dana dumped Xander last week, after finding herself unable to forgive him for not believing her over the whole Bronte saga. If only there could be some sort of crisis which might bring the two back together. Dana's doing her best to avoid conversing with Xander next week as she puts the flags out on the beach, and is soon given a distraction when Sister Harper arrives to deliver the news that she's pregnant. As the sisters head off to Salt to discuss the life-changing ramifications of that little bombshell, Xander heads for a surf with Theo. Xander soon gets into strife, however, when he gets knocked off his board, which subsequently hits him on the head. Theo's quick to spring into action when he spots that Xander doesn't surface, finding his buddy out cold and face down in the water. Theo drags Xander to the shore just as Dana is heading back down to the beach, and she and a colleague rush to Xander's aid, who is groaning in pain. Whisked to Northern Districts by paramedic Joe, Xander is handed over to flatmate Bree as he complains about pain in his neck. Theo's immediately concerned, realizing that he hadn't thought about a spinal injury when he dragged Xander from the water. Dana rushes to the hospital, as does Rose after Harper informs her of the situation. Unsure how her presence would be received, Dana hovers just outside the curtain as Bree gives Xander an update. It's good news, his scans have all come back clear and show that he's only got a soft tissue injury. But as Bree goes to remove Xander's neck collar, he warns her not to, revealing that he cannot feel his legs.
Các bạn vừa theo dõi một sản phẩm của Home and Away, Spoiler Today. Xin chào.